Thank you for visiting the Combs Waterkotte YouTube channel. We are a leading criminal defense law firm in Illinois and Missouri, with over 600 perfect reviews and a long history of client satisfaction, criminal case dismissals, charge reductions, and victories. Our firm has created these audio articles to help protect your freedom, reputation, and rights. If we are hired for your case, we will not give up until you receive fair justice. Juvenile sexual assault lawyer in Chicago. Juvenile sexual assault is a Class 1 or Class X felony allegation in Illinois. A juvenile is any person under the age of 18 who violates or attempts to violate federal, state, or local laws. If you are convicted of sexual assault in Illinois as a juvenile, you could face life-altering consequences. At Combs Waterkotte, we know how to fight for your rights and how to negotiate for rehabilitation over punishment when necessary. To protect your reputation and future, contact our Chicago criminal defense lawyers, now at 312-500-HELP, or contact us online for a free consultation. Understanding juvenile sexual assault charges in Illinois. In Illinois, criminal sexual assault involves sexual penetration by force or threat, when the victim is unable to consent, and it is usually treated as a Class 1 or Class X felony. There is no statute of limitations in Illinois on sexual abuse cases, so charges can be filed years later. Your case will involve navigating the Illinois Juvenile Court Act, which treats youth under the age of 18 as a juvenile. How juvenile sexual assault cases are handled in Illinois courts. When a minor is accused of sexual assault in Illinois, the case can be processed through the juvenile justice system rather than adult criminal court. Law enforcement may handle the initial report or refer it for charging decisions by the state's attorney. If charges are brought, a judge will decide whether the minor will be held in juvenile detention or released to a parent or guardian while the case proceeds. The matter then moves through the juvenile court process, which generally includes adjudication hearings to determine responsibility and disposition hearings. Disposition hearings decide supervision, probation, other court-ordered requirements. In a more serious case, depending on the age of the minor and the nature of the allegations, your case could be transferred to adult criminal court. In Illinois, juveniles as young as 13 can be prosecuted as adults in certain circumstances, depending on the offense and statutory criteria. Potential penalties and consequences for a Chicago juvenile conviction. You can face a variety of penalties and consequences in Illinois as a juvenile charged with sexual assault. These may include detention in the Illinois Department of Juvenile Justice, in serious cases, potentially until age 21. Possible sex offender registration requirements. Probation, supervision, and court-ordered treatment. Lasting criminal record impact. Future restrictions on where you can live and work, as well as personal and social consequences. In some cases, you may even be transferred to adult court and face a prison sentence of 4 to 15 years for a Class 1 felony or 6 to 30 years for a Class X felony. Because these consequences can impact the rest of your life, it is critical to act quickly to protect your rights and your future. Sex offender registration risks for juveniles in Chicago. You may be required to register as a sex offender under the Adam Walsh Child Protection and Safety Act and the Sex Offender Registration and Notification Act, SORNA, in certain serious cases, including where you were 14 years old or older at the time of the offense. Your alleged offense involved conduct equivalent to aggravated sexual abuse. In practice, this generally applies to cases involving forcible penetration and other serious sexual offenses committed by juveniles age 14 or older. If your case involves these allegations, It is advised that you speak with a Chicago juvenile sexual assault lawyer immediately to better understand your legal options. When a juvenile can be tried as an adult in Chicago, Illinois. In Illinois, certain serious juvenile sexual assault cases may be transferred from juvenile court to adult criminal court, depending on the age of the minor, the nature of the allegations, and their prior history. Transfer to adult court can occur in the following ways. Automatic transfer. If you are 16 or 17 years old and charged with aggravated criminal sexual assault, you will typically be transferred to adult court. Presumptive transfer. If you are 15 years old or older, you may face a presumptive transfer if you have a history of delinquency or qualifying prior offenses. Discretionary transfer. If you are 13 or older, a prosecutor can motion to transfer you, and a judge will decide if the case will be moved, based on the circumstances and the public safety considerations. Regardless of your age and the circumstances of your case, you should consult with a Chicago juvenile sexual assault lawyer to understand whether your case could be transferred to adult criminal court. The Chicago Juvenile Court Process, Step by Step. If you have been accused of juvenile sexual assault in Chicago, you are facing the following juvenile court process: arrest and station adjustment. Following an arrest, law enforcement can either release you to your parents without charges or may require a written admission of guilt from you. Detention hearing. This takes place within 40 hours and is when a judge determines if you will remain in the Juvenile Temporary Detention Center or go home. Petition filing. This is when the state's attorney reviews the case and decides whether to file a juvenile petition which formally charges you with delinquency. Arraignment. This is when you appear before a judge and hear your charges, advisably with a criminal defense lawyer representing you. Adjudication hearing. This is when a judge hears evidence to decide if you committed the offense. It is similar to a criminal trial, but is not open to the public. Dispositional hearing. If you are found delinquent, a judge will determine the consequences, such as probation, counseling, community service, or commitment to the Illinois Department of Juvenile Justice, IDJJ. You don't have to navigate the juvenile court process alone. With our Chicago juvenile sexual assault lawyer in your corner, you can protect your rights and have peace of mind throughout each stage of your case. Common defenses in a Chicago juvenile sexual assault case. The defenses that can be applied to your case will depend upon the specific circumstances, such as the age of the minor, the nature of the alleged acts, and whether there was incapacity to consent. Common defenses that may be applied to your case include false allegations. We may be able to identify motives such as revenge, jealousy, or coercion that are in play. Mistaken identity. We may be able to argue that the alleged victim has mistaken you for someone else. Consent. We may be able to present evidence related to consent, where legally applicable, depending on the age and circumstances involved. Challenging forensic interviews. We may be able to argue that psychologists or police used leading or improper questions during their interviews. Alibi. We may be able to show that you were not present at the time or location of the alleged crime. Mental state or development factors. We may be able to present evidence regarding cognitive development, intent, or susceptibility to pressure, where relevant to your case. Credibility of statements. We may be able to challenge inconsistencies or alternative sources that may have influenced the alleged statements. Our legal team at Combs Waterkotte will thoroughly review the evidence and build a defense strategy tailored to the facts of your case. Combs Waterkotte is a leading criminal defense law firm serving the entire states of Illinois and Missouri. We have offices in St. Louis, Chicago, Kansas City, Clayton, Branson, and Belleville. We look forward to helping you with your criminal defense attorney needs.